Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Square
Hi.
roots.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to this American Thanksgiving bonus episode, or if you're in Canada, Canadian Halloween bonus episode.
Or if you're England, English Christmas.
Yes, English Christmas. Now, you might be saying, hey, isn't this a Cyber Monday episode? Because this is Cyber Monday, and we would say, shut up! Shut your dirty mouth!
Yeah, you're letting your consumerist tendencies overwhelm you with capitalist fervor, and we aren't here to stand for it. We're here to talk about whether or not we would eat a bird.
No, this is not
That's not what we're doing.
Classic
No.
Square Root segment. Would you eat this bird? This is a ranking episode, and everyone loves a ranking episode except for Matthew Van Zandt.
I mean, it kind of is a Cyber Monday episode because we're telling you what to buy
Yeah.
from the list of games we've
that's
played.
true.
And by what to buy, we mean the ones that are good.
Yeah, we aren't telling you what specials and deals are on, because frankly, we don't know.
We don't know, and we don't care.
Jeff Bezos. We're a Cyber Monday podcast.
Oh, Jeff
That's a good idea, actually, because Amazon lost a lot of money recently, and it's probably because we aren't getting the word out there.
Everyone in Seattle is laying off everybody. Have you noticed that?
I did notice that. It was terrible. I don't like it. It's not cool. It's not fun or funny.
No, none of those things. So, friends, let's look at the document. And we're going to discuss these groupings. We've done it a little bit differently this time. This time we didn't rank them. We just gave them scores, and they ended up sort of ranking themselves with the magic of Jim's Excel powers.
Isn't that exactly what we did last year?
No, we
ranked them 1 to 50 or whatever.
Oh, weird.
It was hard. Jim,
Yeah, it was
explain
hard.
this year's methodology, please.
Sure. So each of us went in and gave each game a score of 1 through 5. And then what we've done is we've taken the average of those scores and used that to determine where the game falls in our overall rankings. You might ask yourself, because you're using an average, does that mean that certain games will have the same scores? The answer is yes, which we have embraced because it's going to make the conversation easier. Rather than going through each game individually, we'll just be able to talk about kind of aggregated scores and what games fall within those ranges.
And for each cluster, we'll give them the name of a favorite enemy that sort of corresponds to the value of that cluster. So we'll start with what's a really bad Final Fantasy enemy? Marlborough?
Like bad, not fun to play, or bad, difficult to fight?
Bad we don't like. How about the Tomato Man? No, the Tomato Man's great. I can't
I
disparage
love the
Tomato.
marbles.
I don't like enemies that are just like a guy, you know? Like,
Yep.
I think that's the worst Final Fantasy enemy. Just like some guy.
Okay, yeah. So cluster 1 is a guy. You know, a guard, a knight, a rogue.
A bard.
A bard, for instance. So we rated all these games from 1 to 5, and then averaged
Each of us
our-
did.
Yeah.
And then we averaged all 4 of our ratings. If someone did not play the game, they did not give a score, which is only fair. So let's start with the Bard's Tale. Average 1.25. Can we expand that and see who gave it? Or I guess here.
I know exactly who gave it more than 1 star, and it was Jim.
Jim!
It's kind of fun.
That game was broken. It went down to 2 frames per second as soon as he got on the water.
If you look beyond its technical limitations, it had the potential to be fun.
It was
I won't
super
say that
homophobic.
It gets a 1 for wokeness, but a 2 for overall gameplay.
How? Remember how you could just stand slightly off screen and shoot your arrows at enemies and they would never approach you and you could just kill everything off screen?
Well, actually,
that's
I
fun.
consider that a plus.
Yeah.
Remember the terrible slowdown if you didn't do that?
So this is a game
To be
that's
fair, we
not
played it on, like-
for woke moralists.
Yeah.
But we played it on game consoles like the PlayStation 4, so maybe if we played it on current gen, it could handle the intense graphical capacity that's required to
I'm
enjoy.
pretty sure I played it on my iPad, actually.
I think I played it on the Vita.
Yeah, I remember you did.
Yeah.
You
I don't see how
definitely
this game
did.
is playable on a Vita.
Maybe I think it might have because it was a PS2 game originally, and the Vita is more powerful than a PS2. And Vita actually had more memory. than
Power
PS3.
of the Vita, you say.
Yeah, the Vita was a mistake. Well, you know what? That'll be on our bonus episode. Square Roots talks about failed hardware, the Vita edition. But that's not today's episode. Today's episode is ranking the clusters. All right, next cluster, Goblin Cluster. The goblins are in most Final Fantasies. They kind of suck. I don't like fighting them. They're just annoying. Does anyone like goblins?
No.
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 I love Gerblins. Gerblins
They
are the
make
best.
you drink their special potions to turn you into plants to eat you because they're vegetarians.
Isn't that Troll?
No, they're goblins and they live in a town called Nilbog.
What are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about
Troll
God
2.
of War.
I'm talking about Troll 2.
Oh, is that Troll 2?
Yeah.
I have that on DVD. Or no, Blu-ray. I have that on Blu-ray.
Oh.
Wow.
Let's take a moment to appreciate the fine red wine that Jim's drinking.
Ooh, the Bob Marley red wine?
No, it's the Snoop Dogg.
Oh, is it?
Oh, is that the
God.
19
I'm cutting
crimes
my
or
racist
whatever?
comment out then.
Yeah. It cost $10.99.
Yeah, I've thought about picking one of those up, but I haven't. I like from that cheap wine section, I like the Menage a Trois.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's actually really good.
I just use cheap wine for making spaghetti sauces, but I always have a little for daddy. Just a little for daddy. You know? All right, next. So
You
let's
have
talk
to.
about the
if you're
second game
cooking
in
with
our-
wine, you have to swig from the bottle just a little bit.
yeah. So the next one is Rogue Galaxy, a game that is pretty beloved, and yet we all hate. And that's wonderful.
I find it bizarre that it's beloved. That's nonsense.
I mean, some of those cutscenes were pretty good. I did like cutting back to the prisoner guys for no reason. Or
I mean, but that's the stuff that we
MIO.
liked because it was bad.
Yeah,
It's like an
yeah, or-
NST3K app. Like, you laugh at the crazy shit like Mio and the fucking
The boy,
guards.
the robot
and the
boy.
The robot boy and his letters. But that's not good.
Papa, where am I?
It's so dark in here, Papa.
That was the best when you like go to save after a long boss fight and you think you're finally going to be able to put the game down, and then it's Papa, Papa.
What a terrible game. Yeah, so next, what's a kind of average, a slightly below average enemy in one of these games we played?
Oh, like a
see.
fly.
Yeah, like a fly.
A lot of
And
games have insect enemies, and they're just like a dumb fly or a bee or something.
There's a lot of insect
mosquito.
enemies in Xenoblade.
Final Fantasy got them flying insect enemies all over the place.
That's true. So this cluster, the fly cluster, just has. It will get more. You might be saying, "Hey, there's only one per cluster right now," but we start getting after these first initial low ones. We'll start getting more. This one is South Park: Stick of Truth with the highest rating
Wow.
from Jim, who gave it 4
Me.
stars.
Yeah.
And
That's a crazy
lowest
rating.
from me, who gave it 1 star. Vanessa actually gave it 2.
Yeah, it's playable. Like it
This
runs.
is at least a
And you did play
3-star
the
game. I
sequel.
can't believe Vanessa gave it 2 because Vanessa devoured this game and then devoured the sequel
It's
all in
true.
the span of like a week.
Vanessa
yeah,
likes
but
an
then I
Obsidian
felt
game.
bad about it afterwards.
I mean, just because you eat a whole cake in one sitting doesn't mean it was a good cake.
That's
Yeah, it was a
true.
bad cake.
I actually gave
It
it
was
too
a
high of a
sheet
rating at
cake.
2.5. I don't know when I bumped it up to 2.5 instead of 2. It's definitely a 2.
I think I'm happy with my 1. I did not like playing this at all. Remember, Christmas is a time of year. Jim, didn't you watch me?
yeah.
The abortion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sequence. Not go. Oh, watching John play that. Oh my god. What a frustrating experience.
That's why I gave it
He was
1.
almost crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all almost crying.
And now next is another beloved classic, Grandia, which is, let's see. So this is going to be just like one of those annoying crocodiles that you get in a Final Fantasy game, crocodile class.
Mm-hmm.
No one really likes fighting those. And that
Jim
would be
loves Grandia.
Grandia. Yeah, Jim
I like
loves a Grandia. He gave it 4.5 stars. I give it a pretty low rating because I hated the camera so much. I give it a 2. Vanessa gave it a 3, so she liked it more than I did probably for the amazing like cow boyfriend and the volcano and
Mm-hmm. The volcano.
Matthew rage quit that one.
Fantastic voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
I did rage quit it, but I felt like I played enough to give it a fair shake rating, and I rated it a 1. Fuck it. I hated that game. Played like shit. Hated the characters. Didn't like it.
Grandia is in a category for me of games that I know we've played, but I usually have to like Google a game image to remember exactly which one it was and what I liked about it. Like it just doesn't stick in my memory.
Weren't there cows that talked like cowboys?
Yeah. I forgot the name. Darlin. Darlin the cowman.
Darlin, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he had the annoying friend.
He had his wife who
What?
loved him. The cave
Not
woman.
the cows, the characters.
What?
You had a wife?
Yeah. The cow had a wife.
Remember the
Cow.
I'm not talking about the cow. I'm talking about the main character.
Oh, yeah.
Main character's name was Justin.
So
There
now
was the girl with the bow in her hair that was really
Sue?
a moth
Yes.
or something like
Puff
that.
Puff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Puff.
Puff puff.
Puff, puff.
Now next is Rappy class. Rappies being those little chick birds that you fight in Phantasy Star. And that's very appropriate because this is Phantasy Star 4, a 2.75 out of 5, not out of 10.
John made us play that game, and every single one of us fucking hated it.
Yeah, I think I probably.
On it, I like it a lot more looking back on it. Actually, it was very well. It was well written, I think.
No,
It
well,
certainly
not
had-
the dialogue. The dialogue.
certainly
was
I thought
bad.
had-
the dialogue was funny.
A more interesting plot than a lot of these games ever get around to, but like that was just not enough for me because the rest of the game was.
It's kind of like I really like the game, but that's nostalgia. Kind of a bog standard JRPG for that era. Next up, and now this would be like your basic dragon class. You know, like the kind of the ones that you'll like the ice dragon that you might fight in the end of a dungeon. For Breath
That's
of
fitting.
Fire, 3, 2.8333 repeating.
I gave Breath of Fire 3 a 3 out of 5, and I felt like it deserved it because it is slightly above average.
Vanessa
I
was
think
the
it went on a little too long.
Yeah. Vanessa was the one who gave it the lowest score for sure.
Yeah.
What did I give it?
2 out of 5.
Jim, you
Yeah.
didn't rate it.
That's fine.
Well, you didn't play
I
it.
didn't play it for the show. I have played it before, but I didn't play it for the show.
I mean, I don't think
Again,
two's
like
unfair
I don't really
either.
remember it. I remember the little boy.
Yeah.
Do you remember the
Remember-
cool Capcom graphics?
Yeah,
and
the graphic-
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
turned into
Sprites were
dragons all the
pretty.
time.
I remember the cool dragon sprites and the
Yeah.
big dragon guy you got in your party.
Gar.
Remember
I
the
liked Gar.
the
Yeah.
shisa? What is it? Not sushi. Sashimi? Sashimi? Somebody help me.
What are you talking
Sashimi.
about?
Sashimi. Yeah, that.
Sashimi.
Remember that? You had to make.
Oh
That-
yeah, I do remember. I remember the like Disney park ride around the space station that explained the plot to you at the end.
That's right. The crazy sci-fi ending. That game, like I said, better than average, but not great.
All right, next is Flan class. Everyone likes a flan or flan. I don't know how you pronounce
We have
it.
2 in this one.
There-
Flan class has 2.
Flan class has Lost Odyssey and Suikoden, and this is 3. 3 is really the start of these games are pretty good.
Yeah.
These games are pretty good, and I would say Lost Odyssey is pretty good, and Suikoden is pretty good.
I liked the characters in Lost Odyssey. I liked that horny magician
Yep.
and his girlfriend, Immortal
Yeah.
Queen.
I liked the boy, the old boy.
God.
And his
Remember how
mommy.
the magician was just Chandler,
Yeah,
though?
I like that part.
Yeah.
Do you remember how the magician was
Yeah.
Chandler Bing?
Yep.
Horny Chandler Bing?
Yeah.
Wasn't he
I
more
just
of a
wanna say-
Joey? He was more of a
And this is an
Joey.
average, which is no. This is more of an average, and it's fine. But it's not. You're right. He was horny like Joey, but he had the same delivery as fucking Chandler Bing.
Right.
That's true.
Just
Yeah.
for me, I would slot Breath of Fire above both of these. That's kind
And
of my only
this
argument.
game would fill the screen with text, which, as we all know, is something Matthew hates.
I did
Yeah,
hate those
it's
fucking
exhausting for him.
super
It's-
long
yeah.
cutscenes. Those were exhausting. I
you're-
was so spent when they were over.
You were so sore. Ow. Yeah.
Most of our Patreon dollars go to lube for
yeah, that's true.
Matt's.
You should just get one of those big buckets of that J-Lube, the powder, so that, you can just sort of add water as needed. So
What?
don't worry.
I
about
hate
it.
what he just said. I don't want to think about it. I refuse to examine that statement any further.
And Suikoden, so Lost Odyssey, it was 3.5s all around, a pretty good score, except for Matthew, who gave it 1.5. He did not like that game.
1.5, slightly better than Rogue Galaxy and Grandia, and that's it.
Now, Suikoden had the famous two-hander ending with Matthew and I. Matthew giving it a 2, and I giving it a 4. So that's why it ended up in 3 class. Flan
Yeah,
class.
I just don't feel like I feel like Suikoden also had like a pretty interesting story and was like at least a kind of a departure from your standard JRPGs in a lot of ways, but I felt like the combat was pretty bland and way too long, and overall the game just went on and 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 on.
I really like cheating in
10,000
that
characters, and I
minigame,
didn't carry
though.
any of them. I did also enjoy cheating the casino. Most games should have something that you can just break to win.
Yeah, I really like that game, but Matthew did not. All right, what's the next one? The next one is Bomb Class, and we all like a bomb, like a Final Fantasy bomb. And there's 2 strange entries here. This is 3.125, and we're looking at Kingdom Hearts and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which seems very low for what I would call Vanessa's favorite game of all time.
Yeah, the greatest game that we played on this podcast, as I tweeted today. And then I felt bad because it was liked by the person who had originally tweeted a message about it. And I did not have the heart to explain that I was saying ironically that it was the greatest game that we played for this show.
Oh.
Kingdom Hearts, I feel like, is misrepresented here based on Vanessa's 2.
No, Vanessa gave it a 3.
Oh,
That's
that's
right.
Johnny's 2.
I
Excuse me.
hated that game. Although
You
not as
hated that game before we started playing it, and by the time we finished it, you liked it.
No, I liked 2. I did not like 1. I thought it was a miserable experience.
Listeners, write in and correct Johnny on his opinions, because I guarantee you he was roundly for that game.
2 was the one where it
level
came
design
in.
on 1 is bad.
Yeah.
Remember those boxy rooms?
It is bad. I still think it's. I think I gave it a. Oh no, I gave it a 4. Actually, that feels high for me. But I liked that game. You're right. It's broken and bad in a lot of ways, but it charmed me. Charmed my pants right off into giving it
So,
the highest rating out of all of us.
So Vanessa, you were
Yeah.
saying that you think Vampire the Masquerade is the best, one of the best game you ever played for Square Roots. Is that right?
It's the best game we ever played for Square Roots because it's super fun. It's really cool and it's educational. It teaches you about all the different kinds of vampire, like a Bruja and a Toreador and a Treme. I learned a lot. I loved a lot. I laughed a lot. There's nothing problematic about it or upsetting. It's
Nothing.
just like
Remember the vampire AIDS?
that was great.
Now,
It was
my wife, she loves them Toreadors. She can't get enough of them. So, yeah, I know a lot about the Vampire the Masquerade. One more thing, though, before we go.
yeah.
It's the boys in the lab were looking at your results of the ranking here. And it did say that you gave the game a 2 out of 5.
That must be some kind of horrible mistake. I can't. I just listen.
Cuffer Johnson.
I give myself a certain set of criteria to rank these games by, and one of them was, is it good to play? And one of them was, could I recommend that anybody else play this game? And Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is something that I kind of want to keep just for myself. So I can't say that I would recommend it to anyone. However, it's the greatest game we've ever played for this show.
I will note the lowest score here is from Vanessa.
I mean, a lot of my rating is based on how much fun I had when I played it.
Yeah.
And while I didn't love large parts of Vampire the Masquerade, at least I was able to break it, or at least I was able to cheat and play in God mode.
It broke
and
so
fly
hard.
around, and it was very silly. And the game was very silly.
You guys remember when I got stuck in like
wasn't
the
good.
DLC
Yes.
area
Yes.
with all the mannequins?
And you started explaining the room that you're going to, and we were like,
Yeah.
you're making this up. This is a creepypasta.
All right. So the next one. The next one is, what do they call them? Those like displacer beasts? They're like purpley blue panthers with the tentacles.
Oh, the
Coerths?
quaddles?
Quarths or something?
I don't remember.
You know what I'm talking about, Vanessa?
Calamari.
Yeah. The Calamari class. 3.25. These are pretty good games. These are games that you'll have fun with probably playing it, and they include Fable 1, Final Fantasy X-2, and Xenogears.
Xenogears is not what we're playing right now.
No, we are playing.
No,
it's
we're
by the
playing
same.
Xenoblabies.
It's by the same creator,
Xenoblabies.
but
they'll make
he
your dreams
figured out
come
how to
true.
make a game work now and not be a frustrating mess. But he can still put in all the like crazy world building and weird mythology, but it's less Christian. You're not going to have like statues of the Virgin Mary or
Right.
weird stuff like that. Lots of
But there
Bible.
are
Xenogears was
robots
great.
that eat people.
Yes, there are.
Xenogears had that little pirate girl. Is that game?
No.
I don't
That's
remember a pirate.
Tails.
Oh,
Right, that was
right,
Tales
right.
of Vesperia.
Vesperia. Yeah.
Xenogears is the game where the entire second disc is text and like 2 boss fights.
It's
I
like
play
people
that?
sitting. It's like
I don't think
little
you did.
sprites sitting in front of a background and a wall of text.
Yeah, do you remember
maybe
the
I
one with the
didn't play it.
chair? There was a chair, and people sat in the chair and told you what the second disc of the game was going to be like until they ran through
With
everybody.
Vanessa, it was the game with the mechs.
I don't like
Yeah.
a mech.
I don't think Vanessa played this one. I think she took
Wow.
that,
I don't think she
that
did
one
either.
off. And actually, Matthew gave this one a higher score than I did.
That's crazy. I need to change that. That cannot be the case. I hated that
I gave it a
game.
3 because I found some of the mechanic. Like, I really loved the story. I thought that was great. And I love the anime cutscenes. I love the crazy nonsense. But I found navigating those dungeons was so bad sometimes. But I don't know. It's not a terrible game. And I think if you like that style of Square RPG, there's a lot to enjoy here. So that's why we gave it, like, it's pretty good, but it has a lot of qualifications if you want to play it. You know,
Just for the record, I changed my score to a 2, and now it's back between Stick of Truth and Grandia.
All right.
Where it belongs.
Uh-huh.
The game is broken and unfinished.
Yes, for sure. But I still like it and would recommend it.
I mean, it certainly has a strong start. One of the
Now-
strongest starts.
Final Fantasy X-2 is another one of those games where Vanessa put in a bonkers amount of time into it.
I loved that game. That's the best game we've ever played for the show.
Wait. Oh no, Columbo's coming back. Okay, you're saying this is one of the best games we played for the show. But here we are looking at. Actually, your score is pretty good. You were the one who gave it the most stars.
Yeah, because it's the best game. It's the game where you get to dress up in lots of different outfits. You get to be a psychic, which is the greatest Final Fantasy class ever. You float. You wear a little schoolgirl uniform, and you blast things with your mind.
But it's not the game that you gave the highest score to.
Right. Well, as a journalist, I have some obligation towards objectivity.
Right.
Final Fantasy X-2 is another game I didn't finish, but I felt like I had played enough to rate, and I rated it a
Did
2.
you get to the amazing music, the concert that they were building up to? That was so wonderful.
I think so.
Good.
I think I got more than halfway through that game, for sure. I played a bunch of it, but I wore off towards the end because the job system combat was, and just every cutscene was too much.
I
for
really
me.
like Brother. Remember how cool Brother was?
Brother was amazing.
I really liked LeBlanc and her gay couple minions.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
They were great. And next
Didn't
up,
that game also have guys named like Salt and Pepper or like Ketchup and Mustard?
Or was that some other game? There
And they
Famous
kept
Final
showing
Fantasy
up.
characters.
That
I
was-
remember they
Mustard.
that
kept
was-
showing up like the guys in Rogue Galaxy.
you're thinking of Tales of Vesperia. Mm-hmm. Which seems to be everyone's mixing every other game up with Tales of
I know.
Vesperia. Okay, so next up is Adamantor class. Is that what it's called? The turtle that shows up in a lot of Final Fantasy games.
Adamantis.
the one with the
Adamantis?
knife?
No, that's
No.
That's I always forget the
Oh,
name of the
yeah,
one with the
yeah.
knife.
Just that turtle boss. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
the
it.
big turtle.
Adamantois.
Adamantoys, that's it. Yeah. And that is only Kingdom Hearts 3, which is, I think, that's a pretty good score for Kingdom Hearts 3.
I
Yeah.
thought it was. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine.
It's a little short. The Big Hero 6 level was really empty. The Caribbean level was fantastic, but I did not like that Johnny Depp was there.
Do you know who gave the
Yeah.
highest score to Kingdom Hearts 3?
Who? Matt?
Matthew. I guess he
I love
really
Kingdom
liked
That's
Hearts
kind of
3.
generous.
it. Okay, yeah. Well,
I think I was being a little too generous. But I really loved Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's too late.
I thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was fantastic. Like it was a little short and it was all Pixar. So it was like a little disappointing, but like it was on the cusp of greatness. The game was so fun to play. The plot, even though it's awful, was at least like crazy and fun. Y'all remember Giggle Flare?
Yeah. Remember
Giggle flare.
how cool the Keyblade forms were
Zeta flare?
when you can switch up your Keyblade form to like drill bit or
Oh,
like
yeah.
Little keyblades?
yeah,
I liked how
That
positive
was-
Sora was.
the yo-yo one. Yeah.
I feel like
Those
we
Kingdom Hearts
probably
games-
would have got more out of it if we played all the other ones, but we
Or at
refused.
least Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 for me have the closest thing to like pure fucking pleasure combat where I just love playing it. I love to play
I will
that
say
game.
the combat in 2 and 3 is really good. I think I like the combat in 2 a little. No, you know what? 3 had good combat.
I do.
2,
I like
3
2
has the
better.
problem that you have to use those fucking theme park things too often.
Right.
It gets old.
Right.
But
All right.
they like wiped the whole field, so you kind of had to use them.
Next up
But that was my only
is
complaint.
Marlboro class. Everyone likes a Marlboro. They look like cigarettes. No, they look like a big weird plant thing with lots of eyes, and they spew poison gas, and they're a fan favorite monster. And
Remember
this is
when one of them like one shot, like not killed my total party killed me?
Yep.
Just a random Marlboro was like, "You're dead." And I think didn't Johnny play one where he got stuck on it for like 3 hours.
Yeah,
Yes,
because they
I
do
remember
that.
that.
They do that
think it was Final
bad
Fantasy
breath
10
attack
too.
that gives you like every status
10, yeah.
effect.
So
Because I
this
remember you
is-
finally getting out of it by hitting it with a ball or something.
I feel like it was 10 too, but it might have been 10. So this is a big Marvel class has some straight up beloved games. It's got Bowser's Inside Story, Dragon Quest
This is our
V.
3.5 rating.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we're tough critics. We're not giving every game a 5. We're not IGN here. We're not Game Pro.
I did not rate Fallout because I did not play enough of that game to really rate it. I don't think I made it through the first chunker.
So, Bowser's Inside Story, Dragon Quest V, Fallout, Metal Gear Solid, The Wolf Among Us, Vagrant Story, and Yakuza.
Why don't we
didn't
all
play Yakuza
Why don't
either.
we all around the horn go out? Because there's a few games in this section. Let's call out each of our favorites.
Can I
How
just
about
say
that?
that I was shocked when I saw Metal Gear Solid in the list. I had totally forgotten we played that game. I've got the mini PlayStation that I bought for playing that game sitting right in front of me, and it's been sitting there ever since, untouched.
I refused to play that game, and I cannot remember why.
I did make you watch cutscenes for it because.
Oh, yes, I did watch the cutscenes. That's right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Favorite game. You know what? Fuck it. It's probably not true by rating, but of this list, my favorite game is Vagrant Story. And I didn't even finish that game.
That game, I think I gave it a pretty good. I think I gave Vagrant. I feel like I gave it a 4. That
You
seems
liked
like
it the
a
most
4
of all
game.
of us, I think.
Yeah, I did like it. It did have a couple of annoying moments involving, what'd you call that?
The combat and the movement were both awful.
Jumping. Yeah, the jumping was so bad.
Oh, that's
Ew,
right.
that
And the
was bad.
climbing, and and the
Yeah.
box pushing,
Yeah, I didn't like any of
and
that
the super
stuff.
hard combat where they could one shot you.
See, that I liked. I liked the combat. I love the cutscenes. I'm nutty for those cutscenes. They're great. But
Yeah.
I think I didn't like playing it because I have no sense of rhythm. But Bowser's Inside Story probably has my favorite story of those games.
I love Bowser's Inside Story. I had so much fun playing that game. What a delight that game is.
I kind of look forward
Yeah.
to hopefully next year we could play a Paper Mario or something. I think that'd be great. Something like that. Fallout 1. I feel like if I played it back in the 90s, I would like it a lot more than I do, which I still think is good. I just don't have any fondness. I'm not super fond of it. It's fine. It was fun. But it's not a game that
Remember
has
when you
a
killed your
special
dog,
moment.
though? That was great.
Well, anyway, speaking of dogs, The Wolf Among Us. I'm kind of surprised
That
that's
game
not
was
that low.
I liked it. It might be recency bias.
it was a fun game to play for sure.
I
I
give it the
really
lowest
liked
score,
the
though.
end.
So really, the
But
lowness is my
the
fault.
end was great. And maybe it's just because we played a bunch of them recently, but as much as it was fun, by the end I was well over the people remembering shit and the QTEs.
Yep. I think that's why I'm not super excited for the next Dark game that's coming
Dark
out.
Pictures Anthology.
Yeah. All right, moving on. And this will be what's a good monster? It's a monster I like. Okay, this is a Tomato Man class from Final Fantasy 12, even if it doesn't have Final Fantasy 12 in this, but that's okay. You know what? Actually, let's save Tomato Man for 2 more. This is Paper Demon who slaps his butt from Okami class.
Nice.
Yeah. And so this has 2 very similar games, so I'm not surprised that they are there. Ocarina of Time and Okami.
Yeah. Essentially the same game, really, when you get right down to it.
Vanessa did give Legend of Zelda, beloved game, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I couldn't finish it.
I thought you didn't. Yeah, you didn't finish it.
I didn't finish it. I didn't like it. I played
It's
enough of it
certainly-
to rank it.
Yeah.
As Matt would say, I played enough of it to know that it's crap. That's not true.
Wow.
Enough of it to know that it's not for me.
It's
Probably better.
It's certainly the camera and the controls blow now. They were amazing when that game came out. It was like fucking it was game changing. But playing it now, it's like, ugh. I can't move my camera, and the fucking controls they're crazy bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I didn't find the world compelling. I don't find Link compelling. I don't understand his deal or his motivation.
Me either.
I like how simple those games are. It's like a Mario. Like, I just give me the fucking, I don't care. Maybe it's because I play so many of these JRPGs these days, but all these games have so much plot, and at least the Zelda games, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
I
No, I
love
think-
plot.
Ocarina of Time has the biggest spread, maybe. You know what? No, I think Okami, both of these, like Matthew gave Ocarina of Time a 5, Vanessa gave it a
5.
2, and Jim and I are in between. And the next one, Okami, Vanessa gave it a 4.5, and Matthew gave it a 2. So really,
I like Okami.
yeah.
And I finished that game, and I did not like it.
I love Okami. I think it is a
funny.
masterpiece of video game design.
Isn't it funny that, as John said at the beginning of this category, they're basically the same game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think like Okami's got some better. Feels a little more modern than Ocarina
Yeah,
of Time
that's true.
does.
But Okami
But-
also had some really awful design choices mixed
and-
in with it,
Character choices.
and character choices.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Busty Babe?
But
I don't want to
Ocarina
remember
of Time,
Busty Babe.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time, I think, didn't have the highs or lows for me of Okami. It didn't quite get as terrible as Okami could get, but it also didn't get as good as Okami could get.
Yeah.
Certainly, Ocarina, both of those games could stand a full-blown modern remake. I
Right.
can't help but fucking
Totes.
imagine how amazing Ocarina of Time would be if it got an actual
Or
modern console
Okami.
remake. I guess.
Because I think of
Okami,
because
they
of the
wouldn't
time
take
it was
out the creep and fucking jugs and all of that
yeah,
shit.
I guess you're right. But it had sort of a blurry element to the graphics that I think is just because they were trying to do too much for
Yeah.
what was possible at the time. It would be really nice to see that art crisp and clear and lovely.
I did like. I don't think I liked it at first, but I remember by the end I had turned it up to high. The paper effect you could put over the world in
yeah,
Okami.
sure.
That was fucking neat. And Okami had some. I mean, I don't think anything in the world was particularly good looking, but some of the art in the cutscenes was gorgeous.
Especially towards the end.
I don't think any of you looked at that thing you can unlock after you beat it. That's like the enemy scroll, where it just scrolls through all
No,
of
I
that
didn't.
artwork. I went through that whole thing. It's gorgeous.
All right, next is the Balverine class. And for Balverine, we have Fable 2.
Better than
3.75.
Fable 1.
Yeah, for sure. The writing
I'm
was
shocked
better.
that Fable 1's down there with Final Fantasy X too.
Fable 2 is fun as hell.
one's got a lot
This
of
game,
problems, but yes,
this
I
game
agree.
is so fun to play.
Yeah.
Like it's not perfect, but it has so many fun little design choices, and the combat is brisk and well paced, and it's fun. I like this game a lot, and I've
Yeah.
liked it ever since I first played it a long time ago. I think this game's great, and the time jump in it is so cool, and it's
The
just a really neat
dog.
game.
I don't.
Oh, the dog, yeah.
I always liked the fact that my first playthrough, at least, and I don't remember if this is how it is for however you play it. I don't remember what happened at the end last time, but when I played it, but I remember the first time I played it, you get to the end and you can just shoot the final bad guy in the
Yes,
head. And he
you
dies.
sure
And
That's how you do it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how you do that ending.
That's
Is you just
awesome.
shoot him.
If you
That's
don't,
not how I
Stephen
did it.
Fry does.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you could do it.
Have to.
I think I did it another way the second time. I don't remember what it was.
You just get stand there and let him talk, and then Stephen Fry shoots him, and he's like, I was sick of that guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, no, I didn't do that for sure.
All right,
But
next
anyway,
up
Fable 2, good, great game.
Tomato
in its
Man
own
class.
category.
for Tomato Man class, we've got Dragon Age Origins, Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy XII, and Mass Effect. This is 3.875. All of these games very highly beloved. By
Yeah,
Yes,
you guys
Final
are
Fantasy
terrible.
VIII is terribly broken and not a good game. And Final Fantasy XII is a fun game that you don't really have to play. Those are kind of some of the worst Final Fantasies to me, outside of like the early, still figuring it out era.
I think 12 is bordering on boring.
I
It's
love 12.
it's fun to play, but I think it borders on boring. And it's just a lot of the Final Fantasies are Star Wars ripoffs, but this is the most blatant Star Wars ripoff.
But it had
any of the
that
Final
Justin
Fantasies.
Trudeau type who turned into a muscle man at the end.
That is
I remember
true.
that.
Yeah.
I think that John and I are going to have more of this discussion tomorrow night when we record the first Xenoblabies episode, because Final Fantasy XII is a game that plays itself, much like a game we're playing right now.
There's
Only
lots of
if you do your
interaction.
like
I personally
gambits, right?
find super fucking boring, and others find very fun, and that's okay. But we're going to argue about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll save that argument for tomorrow. It's interesting that Jim and I gave a low score to Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah,
with
because you're monsters.
I just like the other Dragon. I think that series gets better each time. I think story-wise, 2 is my favorite, but I think that there's some really amazing characters in Inquisition as well.
Yeah, you know who's an amazing character? Alistair.
Alistair shows up in the other games.
Does
Not
Dragon
the
Age-
way he shows up in that
That's
game.
true. That's true.
Is Dragon Age their first like game like this, or is it Mass Effect?
Mass Effect, I think, came out before
I think
Dragon
Mass
Age.
Well,
Effect.
KOTOR.
Did it?
KOTOR probably before
Yeah.
that.
Oh, no,
And-
maybe not. Because I think in the first Mass Effect, you could get, like, Dragon Age armor. I don't
No.
remember which came
No,
first.
Mass Effect was
That's in
2007,
2.
and Dragon Age 2 was 2009.
KOTOR is similar for sure, and I know it's the same guys, but I feel like Dragon Age and Mass Effect are their own thing, whereas KOTOR is just kind of... It's in between for me. It's not... Anyway. I
I'll
like
admit that the
Dragon Age
combat
1.
in Origins is probably the worst.
Yeah, that's the worst part. And it's buggy and shitty, but a lot of that's just... it is what it is.
I
It's an
think
old ass game.
I just like the other than Alistair, who is a standout character, and I like Wynn, but I think that 2 and Inquisition just have a much more fun cast of party members.
I mean, I agree with you. It's the
Yeah.
best. It's the worst of the 3.
Yeah. That's why. That's my explanation for that. I just think that the games get better as they go.
Mass
Final
Effect
Fantasy-
also, a lot of problems. A lot of problems with the first Mass Effect.
think-
Yeah, that tank.
Yep.
Come on.
Tank.
The
The combat's never great. It's good, but it's in between. It's not great.
It
2
doesn't
feels
have
more
the
like a
jazzy-
shooter and is better.
really like super slick style of 2. I think 2 just has a really stylish look to it that works a lot better. But I like Mass Effect 1. I still think it's fun. Final Fantasy
Now I'm
8,
remembering that Dragon Age Origins does have like the blandest goddamn setting I've ever seen in a video game, where they're just like magic zombies. Fuck, I overrated it. It's a 3. Let's move it on the list and see where it actually belongs.
All right.
Let's just see what
Are
happens.
you changing your ranking mid-episode? You can't do that.
I've already
Yes.
done it.
Did.
I've
can't
already
stand
done
not
it.
having the
Oh,
power.
now it's with Okami and Ocarina of Time.
That feels better.
It's
That
in
feels better.
butt
That's like the
slapping
classics.
demon class.
Classics, but maybe don't play as well as you would like them to.
Final Fantasy VIII, I think, is perfectly ranked. I like that game a lot more than I did when it came out, but it's still nowhere near my favorite Final Fantasy. I think 12. I gave this a 5. I got to admit for 12. I love 12.
Wow, John's really got it in for 12.
Yeah, so just so you know, I think that game is fantastic. All right, so next is the Flying Lightsaber class. Oh, or should it be the Seaman class? What do you think,
Seaman.
Vanessa? Okay, Seaman class. 4. We've got KOTOR 2, Parasite Eve, and Tales of Vesperia. I'm surprised Tales of Vesperia got that high. That seems high.
That's a great game.
Why? It's a great game.
It's fine.
Remember
It's
that little
so
girl who
fun.
was like, I'm a little girl. Just kidding. I'm a very old woman, so it's okay to sleep with me.
Wait, was
It's our
she?
favorite trope.
Right, she was an old man. Wasn't
What are
she?
you talking about?
Or was she? She was always a. Was she a man before? Or was she?
She was always a woman. People assumed she
okay.
was a man
right,
because they're.
That's right. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's that seems high for Tales of Vesperia, which I thought was a very Breath of Fire 3 kind of game.
Interesting. I thought it was really fun to play.
It was.
You know
I
what? I
loved
gave it
it.
4. I feel like maybe I should have given it 3.5, but I'm not going to alter it. But I think that's a good ranking for. I'm surprised Parasite Eve got that high, especially with Vanessa really just giving it a 3. I know Vanessa didn't love Parasite Eve except for the partner falling out of the helicopter, catching fire, and throwing special bullets at you. Daniel, I believe.
Love that.
I
That
didn't
was
rate
amazing.
Parasite Eve, even though I did play a couple of chunkers worth. I just don't feel like I played enough or remember enough about the game.
Seaman.
I didn't find it fun to play.
Yeah, the combat I think is kind of it's not the most intuitive, but I think if you take the time to learn it, I think it's fun.
It's such
And
a
there's you
resource
can-
management based combat, which is weird for an RPG.
Yeah, but there's a way to kind of, I don't want to say break it, but you can take advantage of your character's position in the field to dodge a lot of enemy attacks and make it a little bit easier.
I was also shocked. I know you just talked about it. I'm sorry. I was grabbing something. I also was shocked at how highly rated Tales of Vesperia was. And I like that game. It's one of the best Tales games. It's a super fun game. But, like,
Jim loves it.
y'all gave it 4s and 4.5s.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's a great game. It's a fun game. It's a good game. It certainly, in my estimation, isn't better than, like, Fable 2 or Ocarina of Time or, you know.
Now, KOTOR,
Anyway.
KOTOR 2, I did give the highest score to. I gave it more than KOTOR 1, which I stand firmly behind because I think that the story is just a lot better. However, KOTOR 1 is a finished product and KOTOR 2 is not.
Yeah. KOTOR 2 doesn't have an ending.
But
Yeah.
it's like the Last Jedi of Star Wars games, and I think that's great. So I really liked it. The Force Awakens. I think the Force Awakens of Star Wars games is that one we played for the podcast with Cal.
Last Jedi.
No,
No, it was
Jedi.
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order.
Yeah, that game was great too, but that's not on this list.
Yeah, it was.
Hated it.
But
Too hard.
KOTOR 2, I love the characters so much. And I think oftentimes that biases me. If I really like characters, that probably pushes a game higher for me a lot of the time.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Characters are part of the game.
it's true. All right,
And
next,
you've always been like the USA Network, Johnny, where characters are welcome.
next is the Gamorrean Guard class.
Did you just call him a slut?
Yeah.
So for the Gamorrean Guard class, this is a little bit over 4 stars. So these are pretty good games. It's KOTOR and Super Mario RPG.
John, what did you rate Super Mario RPG?
3.
What the?
All right,
fuck?
you're like on the
You're
record
drunk.
as kind of not liking this game.
Yeah.
I think that's
John, did you
Fucking
do these ratings
ridiculous.
when you were sober?
Yeah. I did them last night at work.
Yeah, I did mine this morning.
Well, I was on break, so it's fine.
Super Mario RPG had that fucking dude that John was in love with.
Oh,
So in love
Boomer?
with. I feel like this was like the 3rd game we did for the podcast.
Yeah, this
It
is
was pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Super
feel
Mario
like it
RPG
may
was
have been the
very
first time I really ran into Johnny getting horny for a fucking character in a game.
who did Johnny get horny for?
The one who,
Boomer.
who
The
you
guy
can
with
make,
the tower. Yeah, Boomer.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Remember when you're like in his tower and he's gonna marry you and he thinks you're Peach and you're like hiding behind the curtain?
And he smooches.
I love that part.
What a
Remember his
fucking
like
great game.
the. Remember the race to the wedding chapel where you had to dodge the barrels and stuff? That was so fun.
I just this is the same problem as Bowser's Inside Story, where I'm just lousy at the combat, and that was a big problem for me. I also felt it dragged. There's just so much of that dreary combat. I don't like the look of the characters. I hated Gino, like his incomprehensible sprite. Like I did not know what I was looking at.
Yeah.
But it did have that. Remember how much, not in a horny way. Just remember how much I loved Bird Boy, the one with Valentina, and then
Oh,
Dodo.
yes.
Oh, totally.
Dodo, so good.
Remember that sequence where you had to pretend to be a statue and jump over Dodo pecking you? that was great.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
That had some good points for sure.
But
great game.
in Johnny's defense, the gameplay is very rough around the edges.
The
There
platforming is
terrible-
atrocious.
I know
terrible
you guys.
isometric jumping.
I know you guys. Yeah, that's true. I know you guys really bounce off of the timed combat, but man, I love
Oh,
that.
I
love
don't mind
the
it.
You know
timed
what's
combat.
weird is that I love the timed combat in Super Mario RPG, and for a long time I thought I would love it in all RPGs, but then every other RPG I've played that has had it, I fucking hated it. But I love it in Super Mario RPG. I love being able to hit them with the jump 100 times.
Watching John try to nail the timing in Stick of Truth was
Shut up.
I don't know, man.
Like, it
I
made me
want
wanna
to point
pull
out
my hair out.
again, I meant to say this earlier, and again in Johnny's defense, I maintain that the tutorials in that game were intentionally obtuse and hard as a joke because the actual gameplay never included
Yeah.
how you
What
used
you
it in
did
the
in the tutorials,
tutorials. Never. It
You're
does
right.
not. There's no way that was not a joke. A bad joke that was bad, but a joke. Anyway, what about the other game? We just talked about it. It's
Wait.
KOTOR.
Yeah, KOTOR. We already talked about it. Jim ended up in underpants at the end, so that was great.
mean,
and
I
that's
did.
why
and
that's
that was
why
a
he-
result of me breaking the game with all the cheats I was using.
I don't think the whole game is great. In fact, I think a lot of that game is pretty fucking bad, particularly the camera and the combat. But nothing will ever bring me as much joy in a video game as the first time I fucking set those families against each other and had them kill each other so I could steal all their shit. That is what I have always wanted to be able to do in video games. And I remember that being the first time that I was like, yes!
This
All
is
right.
the first game, like RPG, I played with the sort of romance element in the plot, in like a dating sim kind of way.
Interesting.
And I really like that. I like that romance is incorporated as a plot point because that's how it usually is in great stories, you know? And there's no reason to leave it out of video games.
I agree with you entirely. More games should have romance plots that are integral to the plot. It's interesting. It's good fiction. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're romancing
It's good storytelling.
Bastilla and she turns evil, I think that's really interesting. And yeah, there's a
And
lot of
all of the other games we've played with these fucking neutered JRPG boys that cannot ever express an emotion.
Yeah.
This is such a departure and such a breath of fresh air.
Oh,
It is.
you'd love Xenoblade too. That guy is all about expressing his feelings, and it's wonderful.
I have news for you. I don't like it in anime games. I'm sick of anime. I'm sick to death of anime boys.
Okay. Well, next up is the Daedric class, because in honor of Vanessa's favorite kind of monster, a Daedric prince. She loves them.
Who rated this the lowest?
Skyrim. Skyrim, we all gave it 4s and 5s.
Vanessa gave it the only 5. Only
okay.
Vanessa thinks that it's
I
perfect.
like Oblivion better.
That's absurd.
I like Oblivion better too.
I think they're about the same, to be honest with you. They both have problems. Skyrim's almost too polished, particularly at this point. But Oblivion's kind of too rough around the edges.
Oblivion's
And
got
they both
that
have the
Patrick
problem of
Stewart,
having
though.
not one good
That's
dungeon
true.
between
And
the
Sean
two of
Bean.
them.
And Sean Bean.
But they both have the Assassin's Guild and the Thieves Guild, which is just always a joy to participate in.
My
Yeah.
big ding against the best thing about Skyrim for me was creating the murder mystery for Vanessa to solve.
That was so fun. That was
Yes.
wonderful.
Yeah. I do think there's a lot of I like the setting better for Oblivion. I like a summer day. Although apparently Vanessa was telling me about a mod that does make Skyrim more sunny and more springtime. I should try that.
No, I was telling you about a Fallout mod like that.
Oh, was it Fallout? Okay.
Skyrim's got a big flaw, which is that it's all one big fucking snowy wasteland, and that shit gets boring.
But it's not. Like, if you look over by Riften, it's like an autumnal forest, and they have tundra, flatlands.
If 90% of the map is snowy wasteland, and there are a few bright spots, that means that
Maybe
it's too
so.
much snowy wasteland.
But we like a Skyrim. I had fun being Grunk. I think Grunk is my favorite creative character other than Bim Janks, of course. Which we didn't talk about with Mass Effect, but was the best part of Mass Effect was creating the worst looking Bim. I'm just bad at making characters look like people, so that's how Bim Janks ended up looking so screwy. Then we'll talk about Mass Effect 2 when we get to Mass Effect 2. All right, next up is the Rufus class, and that is 4.375. Now, this isn't even our top 10, and this is bonkers because I think these are two of the best games we played. Final Fantasy Tactics.
This is I'm sorry.
Yeah, 4.375. Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy 7. I think two of the best games we have played. I gave both of these 5s. Don't blame me.
I gave Final Fantasy 7 a lower score. I gave it a 4.5.
I don't care for Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, Vanessa gave it a 3, and Jim gave Final Fantasy Tactics a 3.
What the fuck, Jim?
I'm just not good at tactics games, guys. I'm not good at it. I'm bad at it.
It was
Maybe
so
you should give
fun.
yourself a 3 then.
Oh!
Final Fantasy Tactics has one of the best fucking plots we have, and some of the best writing we've seen in any of these games.
I do like the plot of Final Fantasy Tactics, but I
agree, that's not enough. And if you don't find the gameplay fun, that's valid.
I eventually found it fun, but I don't know. It wasn't intuitive for me, so
But it disgusts
I didn't have
me.
as much fun with it as other games.
I don't know what it is about that game in particular, because again, I've played a lot of other tactics games and none of them can scratch the itch. But there's something about Final Fantasy Tactics that I can just fucking grind levels for hours, sitting there in a circle, surrounding a monster in a circle with everybody doing their
They're
move.
healing it
Everybody fucking pooping and healing the monster and hoping that somebody doesn't get a counter, because if he gets countered, he's fucking dead because I've raised my bravery to 99. Like, that shit, something about it works for me.
If you raise it to 100, doesn't it make you too brave and you have to leave to go?
No, it was the faith, and that was permanent, not
okay.
not in map, because it didn't carry over.
Right. Okay. So,
But yes, if you got the faith to, I think, 99, they would bail and leave for the monastery. That's a fucking great addition.
It's pretty
Next
funny.
is Tonberry class. This is 4.5, and everyone loves a Tonberry. Mm-hmm. So what game? So these are still not our top 10. These are just outside of our. They didn't quite make it in, but these are definitely beloved games, and people might be kind of scandalized that they didn't make it to our top 10. Dragon Age 2.
I don't know.
Earthbound, Final Fantasy X, Live Alive, and Secret of Mana.
What did I read?
I'm
Earthbound?
very proud of Live Alive
was
for
generous.
making it this high, though.
Yeah.
It was a
What a
great
great
game.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all overrated. That's recency bias. Y'all overrated the shit out of Live Alive. I gave it a 3, and that might be a little low, like maybe a 3.5. It's a good game for sure, but I feel like next year Live Alive will be in a different spot. Like, that game, it was fun. It wasn't fucking Chrono Trigger. It wasn't
It
Dragon
had those
Age
moments,
2.
though.
I think
had
it's
some interesting
pretty
spots.
great. I loved it. Yeah, everyone else gave
Like
it perfect scores.
That's crazy.
And the variety in the chapters, I've never seen another
The
RPG.
three of you all
especially that
great
gave
the
era.
that game
writing
that we
is.
just finished a 5. You cannot tell me that's not just straight up recency bias.
Shut
We
your mouth.
liked it.
Yeah, we really liked it. There was Hong, the special boy. There was Cube. Remember Cube in the whole distant future chapter?
That whole chapter was great.
that whole chapter was great.
Remember Pogo's boner?
Yes.
I do kind of wish we'd saved prehistory for. I may have enjoyed it more later in the game.
Right.
Though I did
Yeah.
really appreciate starting off with a no dialogue chapter. Like, that
Yes.
was. I liked it.
So,
There's two
Dragon
on
Age 2, I think, did really well. And Secret of Mana. Two games I'm very happy made it that high. Because, Dragon Age 2, I love a Dragon Age 2. I gave it a 5. And Matthew gave it a surprising 4.5.
I love Dragon Age 2. That
Oh,
game's
that's
fucking
good.
amazing.
It's great.
Dragon Age
Secret
2
of
is really
Mana. Secret of Mana is a game that I feel like is now the opposite of recency bias. I now have a nostalgia bias because when we played it, I remember being like, fuck this game. It sucks at the end. It
Yeah,
turns
it's all
to
like a slog.
shit. But now I don't really remember it, so I rated it super high.
I
gave it a
really want to
4.
play the remake. Hey, I feel like
I heard it wasn't good.
remakes. I feel like remakes, like 3D remakes of some of these older games, should be eligible to be played on the show
Yeah,
as
why
a
not?
new game.
Yeah,
That's
I have no
such a
problem
good
with that.
idea, Jim. And then we can play
Yeah.
Then we can put Final Fantasy 9 again.
Oh, wait, there hasn't been a remake.
Yeah,
That's
there's
more
a
of a
remake on the-
remaster.
There's a
It's more of a
remaster.
remaster.
That's different. That's not what Jim's talking. Jim's talking about the 3D remake.
I'm talking
of
about the
Secret
full-on
of-
remakes
yeah.
for like for Legend of Mana and Trials of Mana. And, well, Legend of Mana is still forthcoming, I think, but there's Trials of Mana and Secret of Mana.
Legend of Mana just got
Legend
the
of Mana
re-release.
is... Yeah, we just played that.
That was great.
And it has an
that's-
anime.
that's-
Secret of Mana and
that's getting a remake,
Adventures
isn't it?
of Mana got 3D.
Oh, Adventures.
yeah, that's it.
Got
Yeah, and
3D
Trials
remakes.
I think didn't Trials get a 3D remake? I thought it
Trials did. I've played through like half of Trials. It's really good.
did. Anything? Oh, yeah, Earthbound with its door puzzle and other. There's remember Jeff. That whole bit was really fun.
Remember the Blues Brothers riff
Yep.
in Earthbound?
I remember that I wouldn't have finished Earthbound if I had not had cheats. That's what I remember.
Yeah. Earthbound is different from a gameplay standpoint. It's very kind of antiquated, but it's still fun.
I really like Earthbound. I think our listeners will be happy that we rated all these as high as we did. Except I feel like we like Secret of Mana more than our listeners do. I always got that
Yeah,
impression.
probably.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy
That's
X.
okay.
Yeah, this is a good place for Final Fantasy X. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy game, but it's a very good Final Fantasy game.
I think it's my favorite Final Fantasy game for sure.
It might be my favorite too, actually.
Like I know that it's not as cool as Final Fantasy 7.
Or 9.
Or 6.
9's not cool. 9's fun and throwbacky and retro.
I don't know. All the hipster kids love Final Fantasy 9. But so
I
do
know that Final Fantasy, it's not as cool as Final Fantasy 7, and in like it's tackier and like it's kind of too much. But man, I love 10. I think it's got a phenomenal plot. It's got a great romance subplot. It's got great daddy issues. It's got a stupid, terrible fucking sports game you can play, and there's a giant whale named Sin that fucking destroys half the planet. It's
got
one
a
of the
great
weirdest
new
games.
metal. It's got a great new metal boss at the end.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the well, anyway, I just said it. It's got one of the best overall stories and worlds of any of the games we've played, even though it's really fucking weird. It's the most it's really interesting.
I think it's the best fleshed out world. I think that they really had a consistent mythology to it. Let's move on to Cactuar class. Y'all ready for Cactuar class? So now we're in our top 10. So we got the heavy hitters here, and one that shouldn't be here. Chrono Trigger, classic. Final Fantasy VI, classic. Legend of Mana, classic. Oblivion, beloved. Persona 3, classic. Kingdom Hearts 2 is there.
Classic. Beloved.
Classic. What are you talking about? Even you said it was your favorite game in the series.
It is. It's fine.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is... It's just fun. It's a fun game to play.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to fucking run around in and play. And that's, to me, the quintessential, like, the most important aspect of a video game is how fun it is to literally interact with the world, and Kingdom Hearts 2 fucking nails it. Vanessa, how do you feel having a game that you foisted on us, I'm pretty sure, with all of us objecting, in the top 10? with Legend of Mana?
Delighted. I was really, really glad that we got to play that for the show and that I foisted it on you with all of you objecting, because I think it is a hidden gem. Although now it's getting an anime series, I think it's gotten some more attention with the remaster that came out that we played. But it's just a fun game. It's just like this kind of sweet cartoon world with all these little stories that come together in a pretty fun way. I love
Jumi
it.
getting slaughtered one by one.
Yeah.
Remember the were they like harpies or sirens that were like in love with each other? The
Oh,
poet?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Were they
Remember
Medusas?
the
I don't remember what the fuck
walrus
they were.
captain
but
and the penguins?
Yeah, remember the teapot guy?
Yeah, the
Tipo.
teapot that got filled with explosive pumpkins so it could be a rocket.
The only problem with
Wonderful.
Legend of Mana, and what for me held it back from being 5 stars, is that you must play it with a guide, which is unfortunate. Like it's
Yeah,
the
either
way
with a
that the game
guide
is
or
designed,
multiple times.
the way the game is designed, there are like unpassable fail states if you don't understand it well enough, and that's to me shitty game design.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea when it came out is depending on where you lay the land and things like that, you can unlock stories. So you might do a gameplay where an entire storyline is closed to you. So it really encourages replaying, and it does have a new game plus, but we just didn't have the time to be messing with all that.
It's true.
I remember that if you laid your tiles poorly, you could lock yourself out of the end game by not having like a water tile available or a coastal tile available or something like that. That was really fucking annoying, which we
Oh,
didn't
interesting.
deal with because we used the guide. But I remember thinking like, that's horrible.
Chrono Trigger. I think
Classic.
everyone
Stone cold
loves
classic.
that game.
Yeah.
What did I give
Oblivion.
that? I gave it a 5. It's not as good as Legend of Mana.
What?
Did I underrank Chrono Trigger? Because I feel like it should be high. Where did I put
You
it?
gave it a 5. No, that's Chrono Cross. You
okay.
gave it a 5.
It's me and Matthew didn't. We both like it, but I don't think for Matthew and I it was our favorite.
Yeah.
game.
It was
think
the
I
first
gave it a 4
JRPG
and
I ever
bumped it up
played.
to a 4.5 in my second pass through. Otherwise, it would be even lower on this list.
Wow.
Yeah, this was one of the first, not even one of the first JRPGs, one of the first video games that I ever played to completion was Chrono Trigger. And I spent so much time playing it. I got every ending, got all the secret stuff. It's amazing.
I still have a lot of
stuff.
nostalgia for the first time I played Final Fantasy VI. What a great game. The writing's so good. I really like all the characters. I think it's held up really well because of that beautiful sprite art and backgrounds and everything. And it's just a classic.
I gave it a 4, but I would like to caveat that by saying I still have not played the original version. I played the terrible looking iOS ports.
Oh, right.
So it's kind of
Oh,
tough
yeah.
because I don't have the it's not pretty to me. But when I think of Final Fantasy VI, I'm like, ugh, that ugly ass game.
I think it has a wonderful sort of mid-game surprise with the World of Ruin thing. Like how basically the evil guy wins, and then you have to live in this apocalyptic world. It's great.
Certainly something that a lot of games have ripped off since then. But
And the
yeah,
opera scene? Come on.
fucking opera scene.
Persona 3. That was, I think Persona
Stone
3
Cold classic.
was our top ranked game last time.
No,
No, Persona 4
4
was.
Was it? Okay.
it was
But
4 in Final Fantasy 9 last
We
year.
do love a
3
Persona.
was number 3.
And Persona 3 is great. That ending made me tear up with the roof
ending.
and everything.
With the robot?
Yeah, the robot on the roof with protagonist
Argus?
Aegis.
Aegis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aegis.
And Oblivion, everyone likes a Sean Bean and a Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, Oblivion's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I like that Oblivion, more so than Skyrim, really leans. I think my favorite part of the Elder Scrolls like lore is all the Daedra stuff. And this game makes it a focal point, and that's why it's above Skyrim for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think that the difference between Oblivion and Skyrim is that Oblivion still feels like you're playing in a pen and paper RPG world, and Skyrim very much feels like a video game. And in a weird way, Oblivion is better for
Yeah.
being more, I don't know, whatever the
Yeah.
difference is.
I think that Oblivion's dungeons can get a little repetitive when you're going to the Daedra world,
Yeah.
where it's all
Yeah.
just flame and stone. And my favorite part of Oblivion is the Shivering Isles, which is the DLC. That
Which
I'm
I still
not
have to
sure-
play.
Yeah, I don't think
I still
everyone
have
played
not
it, but
played
No, I don't think I played it.
it's really good. It's just like it's amazing.
Oh, I will have to play it soon.
Yeah, you're in the whole realm of madness and with Sqaure and stuff.
Ooh, I love that.
It's great.
Next is Reaper Terminator Baby class. 4.75. Almost perfect games. And wait, what is Chrono Cross doing there?
Yeah, what happened here?
What
This
is
seems
Chrono
like a
Cross
mistake.
doing there? That's
I think it's where it should be. I know that Matt loves Chrono Cross. I really like. I didn't put Chrono Cross above Chrono Trigger, but I think Chrono Cross is a great game. The music is fantastic. I think the characters are great. I don't know. I was really mad at it before I actually sat down and played it because of what it did with the Chrono Trigger characters. But
right.
I don't know.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that you can rate a game 5 stars if you did not finish the game?
Oh, I know you're gonna bring this up. I knew you were gonna bring this up.
It feels weird to me. Like, you didn't finish that game, though, so how can it be 5 stars?
I got pretty close.
I wouldn't-
I didn't
Matthew
rank it
just
5
knocked
stars,
it
did I?
down to Tonberry
No,
class.
I didn't touch it.
No, I touched it. I'm sorry. Was I in Matthew's column? I thought I was
Yeah.
in my column.
You were in Matthew's column. He gave it 4.5.
No, I give it a 4. I think that it's.
I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I think 4 is fair.
Wait, I gave it a 5.
It is certainly a game with some flaws. It has an obtuse combat system that we all literally had to look up specific guides on the
Wait,
combat system to
Vanessa
understand.
gave it a 5. Why are you saying you gave it a 4?
Because I changed it. I changed it in someone's column, be it mine or someone else. I do not know.
And then Matthew
don't-
be 4.5.
I don't remember what I rated it. So
All right, so now according to our revised, it is in a Rufus class game.
that changes our top 10. That's crazy.
Yeah, and now our top 10 includes Secret of Mana or Dragon Age 2 or Earthbound. It gets a little fuzzy. The math starts.
It does
getting
get a little
fuzzy here.
messy, though. I think that you know what. Number 10, you can pick it off the list. For me, it's Final Fantasy X. Y'all may have different answers, and that's fine.
For me, it'd probably be Dragon Age.
But we're still talking about it. Chrono Cross was, I thought, a fucking phenomenal game. I couldn't believe how good that game was. Remember the mid-game twist where you play as the villain for half the fucking game? That was amazing.
I did like the amount of beefy boys that you could recruit.
There was an
There's the
overwhelming
chef.
number of characters.
There was an
Yeah.
overwhelming number of characters, which is something I generally do not like in these games. But I feel like the main characters had enough plot and character that it was fine that there were 7,000 other characters versus Suikoden where the main character was just fucking hero, man.
Now,
That was it.
Kid was Shala, right? That's sort of how that worked out, that she was a reincarnation of Shala.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I don't remember. But I remember that I fucking love that game.
And the other, so it's been knocked down to Rufus class, but we still have here is Reaper Terminator Baby class. So let's talk about Mass Effect 2. I think I might have given this the lowest score, just keeping it because I gave it a 4, which I think is fine. I think it's a good game. It's just not my favorite game. For a while, it was my favorite game, but I think 3 just kind of took the luster off of BioWare games for me a little bit.
I could see that.
Certainly, I think I referenced this on our last episode. Certainly, like one of my favorite games in a lot of ways. Like I have problems with it, and when we played it on the show, I had a lot of problems. If you remember, I classed
Yeah.
you
for
classed
my
wrong.
gameplay style, and I really did not have a lot of fun with it. But just what a goddamn delight! And at the end, there's a Terminator baby, and that's amazing.
The finale of it, I think, is probably one of the best video game finales of all time. With you selecting how to proceed through that enemy base and like
And Bim Jenks got so many people killed. It was amazing.
Yeah, I love Bim Jenks. Bim Jenks. John's design for Bim Jenks for Mass Effect 2 is still my Xbox Live avatar.
Jim did help me design that one.
Yep.
So we'll have to make a new.
And it just has
Bim
some
Jenks
great
for 3.
characters. Like Garrus is great in that game. I think Tali and Legion and the whole discussion about artificial intelligence versus biological life is really interesting.
Come on, Data. Star Trek did it better with Data.
Well, I don't know. I really like that game. I like the Krogans. I like Grunt. Grunt's a fun character.
Grunt is great.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jack's outfit.
Jack's cool. I don't like
yeah.
Miranda's butt cam.
Remember the terrible racist plot?
No.
Remember how you go to that planet and you find like a crashed UNSC ship, and they've been living there for a while and have turned
it's
the fucking women into
Jacob's-
slaves and like
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Slaves.
Jacob's father?
Jacob's father, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's his loyalty mission.
Right.
That wasn't great.
But it was still, I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe I'll like 3 more. It's been 11 years. Maybe I'll appreciate it more for what it is than what I wanted it
maybe
to
with
be.
expectations tempered.
Yeah, I played it last year when I was on my holiday vacation, and I thought it was very good. So
And I like the whole idea of like the Reapers not necessarily being evil. Like this is just how they reproduce, is by
yeah.
raising up sentient life and then absorbing it.
All right. Finally, Moogle class, the ultimate
like a Terminator.
evolution of video games. What
Really?
reached the pinnacle?
Not like Aeon class.
Okay,
Not
fine.
like Bahamut class.
Okay,
Fucking
fine.
Moogle class.
I like Moogles.
Teach me, Mogster.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 9 and Persona 4 are tied. They are the Moogle class games.
Final Fantasy IX might be in nostalgia range for me. I need to replay that game.
It holds up.
I need to
Persona
replay that
4
game. I haven't played it since it came out.
Giving
one
Persona
game
4 a 5
y'all
was a
played
tough
without me.
one. Yeah, that's true. We do need to play
Persona
it with
4
Vanessa.
Persona 4 is fucking perfect.
Except for the transphobia,
yeah.
the fat phobia, all
Yeah.
the Teddy problematic stuff.
All of these games could have similar complaints levied against them, so I don't know why we're bringing it up for Persona 4.
Because I think Persona
Yeah,
4
I mean,
did
we
it
play
more
media that's
egregiously.
10 years old or older. It's not going to
Yeah.
be...
Yeah.
But
yes,
I feel like Persona 4 was egregious compared to a lot of the other games.
there were
It
moments...
felt a little.
yeah.
It bordered on the cruel side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't the
Yeah.
chubby girl that is mean and everybody hates like
Hanako?
die or kill herself or something?
No, she becomes friends with the teacher everyone hates.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not actually. No, I guess the teacher everyone hates is Morano or whatever his name was. But the
Yeah,
other
she
teacher.
becomes friends with the teacher that books the sex hotel for them all to stay in.
Yes. So, Final Fantasy 9 and Persona 4. I do love Persona 4, though. I think it's got 3 and 4 both have amazing music and memorable characters. Teddy turning into glistening boy Teddy made me laugh so hard.
God, Teddy was so
amazing.
fucking good. Can we play that game on the show? No,
And
it's 100
Adachi
hours.
was a great villain. Spoilers.
Adachi was a good villain.
And I liked the whole Scooby Gang solves a mystery element of it. I thought that was a lot of fun. And I
And
just
I like
Chie, one of the best characters in any JRPG.
Never met a child that loved
Chie
going to
Satonaka?
Walmart more than any.
poor Nanako.
Everything's great at your Junis.
Always going home, going to bed without dinner.
Yes.
I feel so bad about
there's-
Nanako.
There's
song.
hot dad Dojima. His name was Dojima, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ryotaro Dojima.
That's a good ass game.
It is real good. Some great bosses. I liked the content, the extra content for Golden with the girl, the sassy
Oh,
girl.
Golden
yeah,
come
totally.
Did Golden come to Xbox yet?
Yeah,
I
they're all.
downloaded that
It's
game.
coming out soon, I think. Right?
Yeah.
There's your Christmas presents, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to just give somebody a game to be like, this is an amazing game and you should play it, Persona 4 on your current
Yeah.
consoles.
And Final Fantasy IX, it's just a really well-made game. Great character design, a lot of fun, really fun summons, and the
Great
game
plot.
gets insane. The game goes bonkers in Disc 3
Great characters.
in such a marvelous way.
Yeah.
Everything falls apart narratively, but in a beautiful manner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember how you finish that game and then there's just a final boss that's like, ha ha ha, I am the embodiment of death. Fight me now.
Next,
Cast
Remember
ultimate on
Queen
you
of Quen, the
constantly,
greatest
and I
Final
had to-
Fantasy character ever?
Woof.
Teach Me Mogster,
Freya.
as Matthew mentioned.
Vivi is clearly
Vivi.
the fucking greatest Final Fantasy character ever. He doesn't have a face. He's just a fucking walking set of clothes. He's perfection.
Well, Queen of Quen
Remember
is
when
a
all those
non-binary
BBs fall
icon.
from the sky and it's like the saddest thing that ever happens?
Wait, which?
God, John, stop trying to force your SJW agenda down my throat.
But Queen of Quen
I
is
don't
a
like
non-
Queen of Quinn.
Up yours, woke moralist.
Yeah. You will see who cancels who.
Up yours, woke moralist.
Just don't fucking like Queen of Quinn, all right? It's a frog monster, and I don't like it, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. You can trash non-binary icon Queen of Quen. I like
I don't have
the
to like it because it's a non-berry icon. Non-berry icon.
I do like Rat Girl there, the one with the what was her name with the red
Eco. Oh,
Freya.
you're talking about Freya.
Freya.
Yeah.
She's great.
Freya's amazing.
Aiko's great. I like the prince. I
White
think the
guy with
princess.
dreads.
Yeah, the
Dagger's
princess is
fantastic.
great though. Yeah.
What about
She has
Steiner?
a great character arc. So does Steiner. Jim fucking loves Steiner and wishes Steiner was his dad, is
I
what he
love
told us in
Steiner.
that first season. I specifically remember that.
Steiner's great.
Yeah, his Ray Liotta
Snyder?
eyes.
And he gets to bone down with the toughest chick in the game.
And Zidane's penis is his tail. Or his tail is his penis. Mm-hmm. And he is
That's canon.
a space clone made by Garland for some reason.
Yeah, why were there space clones, but also Vivi was clones? It was clones all the way down.
Everyone was clones.
It was a real Orphan Black situation, that Final Fantasy IX.
But we played that a long time ago. I guess. Well, 2016, so that would be 7 years ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
I feel like 2016 to now is a longer distance
About 30
than like
years.
2000 to 2016 though. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
2023, we play Final Fantasy IX for me. That's the
We'll see.
that's the second game we're playing after Mass Effect 3.
Johnny
wanna
won't
do
do
a-
it.
Johnny has agreed to it.
I said I'll do
We have
it.
Yeah.
bent Johnny to our will.
Yes, it's true. You have bent me to your will. I'll play it this time with the upgraded version that I can fast forward. Well, that's our ranking. What do you think? What should have made it into Moogle class? Do you agree? What about human class or goblin class? We want to hear where you would have ranked, what class you would have ranked all these games. Please.
So we hope you were writing the classes down
Yep.
as the episode went on, because otherwise there's no way you're going to remember any of them.
Oh, how
Except for
hard is it to-
Moogle class.
How hard is it to remember Cactuar, Moogle, Tonberry, Reaper, Terminator Baby, Balverine, Flying
I feel like
Lightsaber,
half
You
of
can't
these
even do
weren't
it. You
classes
can't even do it.
used.
Daedric.
I
got
have a
most of them.
request.
Yeah.
I would like us all to give one
a
special
prayer.
shout out to a game that we played for a bonus episode, maybe on the Patreon. We do that sometimes. I just want everyone to like think back and search their memories and their hearts for the other games we've played for the show and talk about what really stands out for you.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Remember how we played Resident Evil 8?
No,
I do.
That game was fucking amazing.
That wasn't a bonus.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
We did a Resident Evil 8 bonus.
No, I never
Is
played
that
it.
true?
Jim's backing me up.
We did it. I think we did it.
Wasn't
Was it just me and you?
Oh, maybe I just wasn't on that episode.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think I was
Well,
on that episode because I
if-
didn't play it. Oh, maybe I was
if-
because I did watch Jim's playthrough.
Yeah. If we didn't do an episode on it, I apologize. But I'm pretty
We
sure we
did.
did, because I remember doing it. And I remember that that game's amazing and hella fun. And that's it. That's all I have to say. What a great game. What a great opportunity to play a great game on my great Series X.
I'm going to throw out a game that we did on stream and say that a game that should be in Moogle class is Harvester. One of the best gaming experiences, collective gaming experiences we've ever had.
I was so drunk by the end of that stream. We did the whole game in one sitting. I was very
know.
intoxicated by the end. When the game finally got good, I was hammered.
That never happened. It never got good.
Remember when that sheriff's deputy got caught jerking off in the jail cell?
Now,
Remember how you would peek through the little hole and see the woman changing her clothes?
Yeah. Remember when you could hit on your own mom?
Remember when the guy ate the pie? He kept asking for the pie.
Oh, yeah.
I will slice of your mother's pie.
My favorite part in that game is when you find what you think is your girlfriend's skull and spine in the bed, and the sheriff is like, well, she died a natural causes.
That was
It's another game we need to replay. I don't understand why this isn't a replay podcast. We're relaunching Sqaure Roots, all right? It's going to be called Sqaure Roots 2, and we're just replaying all these games.
now, my choice is, of course, Detroit Become Human.
Of course.
Remember when they all sang, was it Amazing Grace at the end?
Yes.
Remember
Very touching.
the guy sacrificing himself? Actually, I think you could get him alive to Canada at the end.
Yeah, I got everyone alive to Canada. That made me tear up. Like that scene in that game when you are at the passport office and you're so scared and you need refuge and the guy's like, welcome to Canada. I was like, it's so beautiful.
What a trashy yet really enjoyable game. A definite instant classic. Vanessa, I know what you're going to pick.
I want to talk about The Quiet Man.
I knew it!
The greatest gaming experience we've ever had on this show.
Love The Quiet Man.
One of the most racist games we've ever played.
Yeah,
Super
that
racist.
or the one we played with Julian, and I still regret having Julian on that episode because I
yeah,
felt
that,
so
like-
bad.
Oh, yeah, I skipped that one. The
basketball
Barkley
game.
Gaiden.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So glad I
should not
skipped
even
that.
be talked about. But The
Yeah, I'm
Quiet
cutting
Man is
that.
a relatively new game, horribly racist, pretty ableist, like for a game that's supposed to be about a deaf protagonist. And
I want to replay that, actually.
Remember how his
It's
mom's
so
his
bad.
girlfriend?
Yeah.
I know I've mentioned it on the show even recently, but when I was playing that game, I got so upset with the combat and how terrible it is that I just put the controller on my lap and stared at the screen and watched these like endless waves of Hispanic bad guys beat up the protagonist. And I still didn't die. Like I picked up the controller and then finished the fight.
My PSN avatar is still the dad from Quiet Man, and I recently took my PS5 over to my girlfriend's house, and I booted it up, and it popped up my profile picture, and she's like, "What is that?"
Mine
was
is
like, it's
still
hard-
mommy
it's
girlfriend
hard
from
to
The Quiet
explain.
Man.
That's great.
So bad. I can't recommend that anyone play it because it is almost unplayable, like broken to the point of being unplayable. But watch like a let's play of it, honestly. Like people need to see this.
That game is insane. It is just bonkers and broken and so bad. But I mean, the choice now, listeners, if you don't know anything about this game, it has no sound because the protagonist is deaf. When people talk, there's a little bit of a trumpet sound, like Charlie Brown, like a sort of.
But there's cutscenes with dialogue and stuff, too, though. People talking stuff.
But not from the perspective of the main character.
Right. They like talk when he's not in the room, but if you're in the room and he is experiencing something. But what's really frustrating about it is that he knows sign language and sometimes characters will sign to each other. But if you don't know that, then you can't understand still what they're saying. So it's like you're not playing from the protagonist perspective, but you are. Like, I don't even know how to explain it.
It's a bad game, and your mom's your girlfriend. The end.
And we're not joking. The same actress plays your girlfriend as your mother, which is a
Yeah.
bizarre choice.
Well, and they sort of had the thing where once you play it once, the bonus that you get to unlock is then you can play it again with all the dialogue. So you finally understand what happens in the game. But nobody who played this game once will want to play it again. That was their biggest flaw in their calculation.
It is terrible.
And all
One of the
full
worst
motion
games ever
video,
made.
including the combat.
Yeah. Well, no, the combat was polygons.
Was it? Oh, I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Yeah,
I
It
just
was like
remember
a
it all
beat 'em
being
up.
terrible full motion beat 'em up.
but the thing is, like, the graphics are really good. That's like the one thing you can say
I
about
don't
that one.
think that was the case.
I think the
That's
graphics
not
are
how I
good.
remember it.
But there's like
The graphics-
4
I remember the
character
graphics being
models. Like Detroit Become Human is a so bad it's good game, but it also can be emotionally affecting and good at the same time. It's real weird. It once again has a lady who walks into a murder basement, so you know that
like
it's a
every
David
single
Cage
David
game.
Cage game.
All right, listeners.
All right. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for listening. So this is sort of our week off. We'll be back with more Xenoblade next time.
Xenobabies, you make
Thanks,
our
everyone.
dreams come true.
Wapsie-doodie-wop.
Bye.
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 Bye.